Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today we'll talk about the August 2023 Visa Bulletin. There is a little bit of a mess and I will explain it. There is also news on bipartisan NDAA amendment to support documented dreamers, and there is some news on it. And let's also talk about the Canadian Open Work Permit program for H-1B holders that is starting on July 16th, this Sunday. So a lot of important topics for all of you. Watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration and lifestyle related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. If you like my channel and my content, do hit the like button and consider subscribing and hit that bell notification so that you will get notified every time I drop a video. Also check out the affiliate links in the description of this video. Now let's get started with our first topic, which is August 2023 Visa Bulletin. Now all of you must have already seen it because it was published in the morning. I got a lot of comments and tweets on my Twitter account. It's certainly not pretty and I will explain you why. So first, before we get started, I'd like to mention that August 2023 Visa Bulletin will take effect on 1st of August. So any date changes that are impacting you will not happen right away, but you can prepare for them in anticipation of those date changes from 1st of August. Which means if the dates have moved forward and your date is current, maybe in the family based section, you will be eligible to apply for 485 and you can start collecting your documents in order to apply on 1st of August. With that said, let's do a comparative analysis of August 2023 Visa Bulletin versus July 2023 Visa Bulletin. Now here is the side-by-side comparison of August on the right and July Visa Bulletin on the left. Now I'll come down to our final action dates for the family-based section first. Now as you remember, the family-based section consists of F1, unmarried sons and daughters of US citizen, F2A, spouses and children of permanent residents, F2B, unmarried sons and daughters of permanent residents, F3, married sons and daughters of US citizen, and F4, brothers and sisters of adult US citizen. Now all of these categories that have been mentioned here have a cap limit. But as a US citizen, if you are applying for your spouse or your parents, that does not have any cap for immediate relatives at least. And that is true only for US citizens. Now let's go ahead and see how does the family action dates for family sponsored preference cases compare. Now on the left hand side, if you see, the dates have progressed for F1 category. So from December 2014 to January of 2015, and that has changed for all chargeability, China and India. For Mexico, it has remained the same at 22nd April 2001, and Philippines also it has remained the same. Now this is a good news because there has been a long time when these dates were static, did not change at all. Now we are finally seeing progress, and you know why, because consulates are doing a lot of work recently in progressing these applications that were pending since the pandemic. Now F2A on the other hand has retrogress for all chargeability. In the July Visa Bulletin, it was 8th of September 2020 for all chargeability, China and India, and now look what has happened. Now dates have retrogressed to 8th of October 2017. So by 3 years of retrogression in F2A category. Even for Mexico and Philippines, they have retrogressed. So F1 while has progressed, F2 has retrogressed in final action chart. Now let's keep going. F2B seems unchanged throughout. F3 is also progressed a little bit. All chargeability, China and India has progressed by about 3 weeks from 22nd of December 2008 to 8th of January 2009. So that is good news for F3 category. However, Mexico and Philippines have remained the same. Now F4 category has remained absolutely the same throughout. No change in the F4 category. Now I would like to point out a note just below the chart which says for August, F2A numbers exempt for per country limit are authorized for issuance to applicants from all countries with priority dates earlier than 1st September 2016. all F2A numbers provided for Mexico are exempt from per country cap. So that is the difference, that is the nuances that you will see in F2A category. Now let's look at the dates of filing chart for the family base section. I don't anticipate any changes here, but let's look at it. So F1 category, if you look across the board, all chargeability, China and India, it remains at 1st of September to 2017. Mexico has actually progressed in the filing date chart from 1st of January to 1st of April 2005. So there is 4 months of progression there, which is good news for Mexico. As we saw in the earlier note, lucky for F2A category, the dates remain current, at least in the filing date chart, so that you can continue to file your applications. F2B category, dates haven't changed at all. I see the dates exactly the same. F3 category, also the dates haven't changed at all. F4 category remains the same. So F2B, F3 and F4, no changes in the date in the filing date chart for family based category. So now F1 has progressed in the final action date chart for family based category, so you can take a little bit of a solace in that because of the processing that has been going on at the consulates. Mind you, this year I am expecting very less spillovers from the family based category to the employment based category. This is just my guess. As we draw closer to September, I'll make another prediction of whether there are going to be any spillovers, if at all, from family based category to employment based category. Now let's look at the employment based category where there are firecrackers. So I know for sure that some of you are interested in stock trading, day trading, buying cryptocurrencies. I want to present you Webull. Webull is a trading platform. It allows you to buy stock, it allows you to buy options, do options trading, and also it allows you to buy cryptocurrency. Webull 9 was released with a brand new home and market page, asset page and economic calendar. Also, Webull Cash Management was launched with 5.8% API with no fees attached and no minimum balance and unlimited withdrawals. This is amazing. New Webull USA users can still enjoy 5.8% APY and gift up to 12 free stocks when making an initial deposit of each is valued between $3 and $3,000. Feel free to take advantage of this. Join through my link and you will get those free stocks. Now here is the final action date chart for employment based cases. Now EB1, you can see all chargeability has now a priority date of 1st of August 2023. Now this is incredible because EB1 was never had a priority date for rest of the world category as far as I can remember. This is the first time that I'm seeing EB1 has a priority date for all chargeability. This is not a good news for any of the categories in EB, because if EB1 itself is backlogged, nothing else gets any spillover from any other category. And that too, if EB1 the rest of the world is backlogged, which is very rare, there is always spillover from rest to the backlog countries, but seems like this time that is not happening. So mid-year at this point of time, dates actually progress because of these internal spillovers from rest of the world to EB1, EB2, EB3 backlog countries. But this year we are not seeing any of that. Now look what is the effect of that. China remains at 1st of February 2022. India goes back to 1st of January 2012. Now one would ask, how did that happen? There is a footnote down below that I'm going to read, which is unbelievable how they put it. It is the last man standing at that priority date who hasn't yet got their green card. If anybody has an extra green card, please give it to that man, because that man has waited for 10 years. Pun intended. It is really ridiculous that they will do this. Now, a lot of people are panicked due to this, but what I can say is this is a temporary situation. This does not give the reality. What is going to happen in October, this date is going to switch back to 2022. So this is just a temporary blip because they have oversubscribed category in India for EB1, all of those EB1C applicants, and now they have to move this date back until they get some extra green cards as part of the New Year's quota in October 1st. So this is very temporary. This is for next 2 months only. So don't get panicked with 1st of January 2012 date for EB1 India. Let's keep going. Mexico and Philippines also have a priority date now because those countries are also now oversubscribed. Now let's go to EB2. EB2 has progressed a little bit for all chargeability from 15th of February to 1st of April for China, it has remained the same, 8th of June 2019. For India, it has remained the same, 1st of January 2011. For Mexico and Philippines, it has progressed to 1st of April 2022. No change in EB2 for India at least. EB3, the dates have progressed from 1st of February 2022 to 1st of May 2020. China has progressed from 1st of April 2019 to 1st of June 2019. So little bit of a progression there. No hopes for India, and Mexico and Philippines has progressed a little bit. So EB2 and EB3, India has not changed at all, which is good because they took a hit in the last couple of visa bulletins. So we were not really expecting any changes in the EB2 and EB3 category. Other workers category remains the same. Fourth preference category also remains the same. Certain religious workers category remains the same. EB5 all remains the same, no change whatsoever. The only shocker in this is EB1 India has retrogressed for the final action date by 10 years. Again, I am saying this is a very temporary situation. This does not reflect the reality. It just means that they have exhausted the number of green cards for EB1. So there will be absolutely no green cards given out to EB1 India for the rest of the fiscal year, which is until end of September. Come October 1st, these dates will jump back to where they left off, which is in 2022, or they may also become current. We'll just have to see. Now let's look at the filing date chart for employment based category. Now in the filing date chart, I'm not expecting much of a difference. So let's see. First, EB1 category, all chargeability remains current. China and India also remain at the same dates, 1st of June 2022. Mexico, Philippines remain current. EB2 also remains same dates across the board, except for China has progressed from 8th of July 2019 to 8th of October 2019. So they have progressed China's dates. So maybe there are lesser applications in China, obviously, and they are able to progress the date, which is filing date chart. Indian dates, for India, the dates remain same at 1st of May 2012. Mexico and Philippines also remain the same. EB3, again, no change whatsoever, except China has moved from 1st of June 2019 to 1st of September 2019. India remains the same at 1st of August 2012 in the filing date chart. Other workers category has also progressed for all chargeability for 1st of February 2020 to 1st of June 2020. The rest of the chart remains the same for China and India. Mexico has also progressed for other workers category from 1st of February 2020 to 1st of June 2020. Fourth preference category has remained unchanged. Certain religious category has remained unchanged, and then the rest of the chart for EB5 has remained unchanged. Now I want to read out the footnotes specifically for EB1 India and also for EB1 rest of the world. So let's read the rest of the world EB1 first, because that has surprisingly retrogressed as well. Due to steady number use and high demand, it has become necessary to establish a EB1 final action date for rest of the world countries. Rest of the world, Mexico, Philippines, effective in August to hold a number use within the maximum allowed under 2023 limit. Rest of the world countries, Mexico and Philippines, are subject to a final action date of 1st of August 2023. This situation will likely change within 2 months. On 1st of October, it will become current. That's what I'm reading from it. Now let's talk about EB1 India. Now, as they had informed in the May visa bulletin, it will be necessary to retrogress EB1 India because that category has been oversubscribed. So as a result, what has happened is they are no longer able to receive EB1 numbers under INA. Having reached their limit of 2023 within EB1, India will be subject to EB1 final action date of 1st of January 2012, and here's the kicker, and here's what that date means. The oldest priority date of an EB1 applicant. To many Indian EB1 have priority dates from 2012 to 2015 because of priority date retention based on previously approved petitions in EB2 or EB3 categories. It is likely in the October that final action date will advance to at least the final action date announced in July visa bulletin. In July visa bulletin, what was the final action date announced? It was announced at 1st of February 2022. So all in all, what I wanted to mention here is don't worry too much about the retrogression in EB1 category. There are two ways to look at it. One way to look at it is they exhausted all the visa numbers this year. It was not the case last year. We were crying about how come USCIS is wasting visa numbers year after year. This year they have exhausted all the visa numbers that were available to them to issue green cards to EB category. So that is the good news part. The bad news part is more and more people keep applying in EB1 category. Now I have always talked about the EB1C category, which is grossly misused category in the entire EB application categories. EB1C is the grossly misused. If that misuse was not done by these consulting companies, we would have seen something different. But unfortunately, we have to live with what it is. Another thing is many people are also qualifying for EB1A, so that is also a factor to consider. So the bottom line is EB1 is oversubscribed. There are no more visa numbers available because they have used up all of them. That's why they had to push that data back by 10 years. It doesn't mean that we have 10 years worth of lot of people waiting. It just means that the earliest application pending in EB1 category from India is back in 2012. That's all it means. It will swiftly move forward in October back to February of 2022. So I will leave you with that. Put down in the comment section below if you have any other questions. Reach out to me on my Calendly if you want to talk to me. I will leave the link in the description. I know there is a lot of anxiety, a lot of frustration on this visa bulletin, but remember this is a temporary situation. At least for EB1, it will come back to normal in October. That is my guess. EB2 and EB3 India, that is another story we'll talk about in our later videos. Now let's switch topic, and not so good news continues. Now this is a tweet from Congresswoman Deborah Ross. I am disappointed that Republicans blocked my bipartisan NDAA amendment to protect documented dreamers, despite a similar amendment passed in the last year's bipartisan NDAA. I will continue to use every avenue available to get the legislation across the finish line in this Congress. Now this is a typical politician that is saying that the other party has blocked it. But trust me, this has happened a lot of time in the past. This bill to support documented dreamer has bipartisan support. Congressmen from both the sides do support this bill. So it is unfair to say that Republicans have blocked this bill. But anyways, this is unfortunate for the documented dreamer because we were so close to getting this passed. If it has any more update, I'll be sure to make a video and include it in my future videos. Now my third topic of this day is the Canadian Open Work Permit for H1B visa holders. So if you haven't watched my previous video, do watch it. And in the backdrop of these visa bulletins and date retrogressions, you might really want to consider this option, especially for people who are above 35 or 40 years of age who would otherwise not qualify for the express entry program for Canadian permanent residency. This is a golden opportunity to get into Canada, get into a job, get those job related points and get your permanent residency in Canada and eventually citizenship. It is also good for people who are planning to do EB1 or qualify in EB1C, the grossly abused category. Anyways, by getting this visa, you could go to Canada, work from there for a non-US entity for 1 year in a managerial role and come back and qualify for EB1C. That is also an opportunity through this path. And then the third category is if you are frustrated on H1B, if getting your green card is going nowhere, this might be an opportunity to get out, get into Canada, get your PR and get settled there. So the interesting thing is that this program, since they declared a couple of weeks back, there has been no update on it. And that's how typically Canadian pilot programs work. They announce something and then they start their application process for a certain amount of time, for a certain limited amount of visas. In this case, it will be for 1 year and 10,000 applicants. They're going to start this process on July 16th, Sunday. So remember, Sunday this process starts. Process in the sense they will start accepting applications. I am suspecting that this will fill up, these 10,000 applications will fill up in few days, if not the first day itself. We'll see how it goes. But the important point for you to note is you will need to apply on day one. You'll need to collect all of your documentation now so that you are prepared to submit the application on July 16th, which is Sunday. Now typically the application process starts at 12 o'clock in the noon time, not in the night, not in the midnight. 12 o'clock noon when they open up the application process, allow you to submit, which is comfortable time during the daytime, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Now typically they offer online method, but they also have the paper based application, the traditional paper based application for open work permit, that is also available. So going through a normal route of open work permit application through paper based application is also an option, but watch out for the links in the description that I will put, because they will get updated with this button for you to get started with your application process. So this is one of the pages that I might be looking for, because there is get started button for many of these categories. And here is, as you can see, for H1B visa holders, you have this live on July 16, processing time of 0 to 2 months, and follow to be notified when the program goes live. So I'm suspecting that this kind of a green button will show up here on July 16th for you to start the application. So this is one of the places. There are other places where you can also look, where you can submit your open work permit application through the normal page that they have for submitting the open work permit application. So regardless, I will keep watching this. If I have any information on where to submit the application, I'm pretty sure it would be one of these two that I have just shown. But do get in touch with any Canadian lawyer if you want, and in this case you might want to get in touch with a Canadian lawyer. If you need my recommendation, do reach out to me. Regardless, prepare your documentation, prepare your application, be ready to submit your application on day 1 on July 16. Now what are the documentation that are needed? You'll need your passport, color copy of your passport, all the pages of your passport for all of your family members. Make sure your passport is valid, because Canada typically gives visa only to the validity of the visa. Your educational documents, your transcripts, your marriage certificate, birth certificate, although it may not be required at this stage, and standard stuff that will prove that you are in the United States. Remember, they are targeting H1B candidates that are residing in the United States. If you want more information on this, do reach out to me on Calendly. So that's all I wanted to cover in this video. If you like the content of this video, do hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.